The way I look at things are, I grew up in the church. I've always known about Christ. I've always known about Jesus. Um, I actually always celebrated his birthday on the 25th, like Christmas. I later find out that it's not really real. It's kind of all made up so that it kind of all falls in line with a story to make it make sense. What I'm what I'm realizing is that what has happened is that we have, it wasn't us, because of course it happened generations before us, generations before us, but somewhere down the line there was a message that was misconstrued and replayed. Not only was it then replayed, it was then emulated, um, maybe picked out and picked the things that were appropriate for people and some things that weren't. They kind of separated them. Um, Years later, more separations have happened, and now when you get to Christ, it's almost like a taboo type of a situation. 2020 has been a year. And if 2020 has not been that year for you, then I'm not really sure what that says about your 2021. However, I do know that if you have found that something, like the reason why you do what you do, then you're ready for the next. You're ready for 2021. We have about 4 more days left until the day that they say that we celebrate Christmas. It's not about the day that we say that we celebrate Christmas. It's not about the passing of gifts or anything that we celebrate Christmas. It's about the idea of letting a baby be born to go along with the story. Because in order for the story to have points and merits, the baby needs to be born. Now, we all do believe in the baby being born. We believe in this birth. We believe in this birth. The problem becomes when we know a part of the story or we don't know a part of the story, or there's something that was left out of the story, or we added some things into the story. We can talk until we're blue in the face about what was there, what wasn't there, and everything. What we do know is that we are still here, and that means that God is all the way real. No matter what book you read, no matter how you believe it, no matter what you think, there is always something that's going to tell you that there is greater. God is greater, and God is all that we need. So if you remember anything about the pandemic, the minute that this pandemic started, the week that this pandemic started, it was the week that the Christians would celebrate Easter, the end of the Lenten season, and it was Passover, if I'm correctly, if I remember correctly, which meant that if we were allowed to go along with the story that we were told and the story that we believe and the story that we live by, then that says that when he went in the tomb on a Friday, he was supposed to get back up on a Sunday. Actually, that next Sunday, he should have got up. But if you recall, they shut churches down. We weren't even allowed to worship. By us not being able to worship, it kind of threw a wrench in things, but it didn't throw a wrench in things. As far as I'm concerned, it looked almost like let the wheat and the tare grow together. And then when it is time for maturity and time for separation, then they will separate themselves. I'm a little disappointed that the church was closed all of this time. it taught me something. I rest a lot in the building. I rest a lot in the people. I rest a lot in the worship. I rest a lot in the actual service of it. That's because I've been called to worship. That's because I've been called to serve. But without a church building, it causes you to be more and more and more like Christ, because you then are out here serving. You then are out here looking to heal things, looking to make things normal and make things together. So it's a couple days before Christmas. But what I want to say is to anyone out there that ever knew anything about Jesus, that ever knew anything about a story, that ever knew anything about when all help is lost, that you can rest on and bank on and believe in and know that your Savior is right there for you. I mean, if you don't know, now you know, because we've been a little bit quiet about Jesus, and everyone else can say what they want to say, but I say it's my birthday. We live Christ-like. Blonde hair, blue eye, you heard it here, coming from Misunderstood Adrian. I'm not Jesus, but it says to be Christ-like, and I sure do walk like Jesus. So, if you don't know anything else, you don't have to celebrate it because of what they say. Celebrate it because of what you say. Celebrate it because there is a reason why. Celebrate it because why that baby needs to be born. The blessing of it is, it says that the government, the baby was born and the government was supposed to be upon his shoulders. So we struggle so hard with government, and then we try to figure out why we struggle with government, but maybe it becomes that if we can't acknowledge the baby, then we won't have any control over the government. Because if we realize that the government is actually the situation, the culprit, the program, that's what's going on. When we realize that, we can find ourselves back to God. We can find ourselves back to Christ. We can find ourselves back in the same place doing the same thing. And that's called worship. Worship. Every day of my life is a devotion to worship, because I am thankful for what He has done. I am thankful for what He is doing, and I am thankful for what He has already shown me to be what is needed for our next. If you're a part of it, I don't sound good, but it's all liquidy. But if you're a part of it, if you want to be a part of it, please make sure you gotta like the video, you gotta subscribe to the link, and you gotta follow me. All of the above, right? And you gotta be invited, but get in Clubhouse. Find out who you know that knows how to get in the Clubhouse, so you can make sure you get in there. I'm God Got Goons in the Clubhouse. GOD, GOT, GOONS. And we out here working together, saving God's kingdom. So please, please, please join me and the rest of the goons as we get this thing popping. We say that there can't be any more switching and changing and diving. And oh yeah, I am an author. I got a book coming out. It's called Surviving Tough Times. And when I tell you, there's nothing like knowing that you're going to get through something that seems like it's the toughest thing in the world. That book there, Surviving Tough Times, trust me when I tell you, it will definitely help you survive some tough times. Good night.